the basis of the rule of law is that when a court has decided a matter, an aggrieved person appeals, and when he has gone through the appeal process and failed, that is law. He has to comply. It doesn't matter who. If you have not appealed, it means you are satisfied with the decision. So when a court order is made and you disregard it, that is terrible. Particularly when it comes from government officials. A government which has sworn to uphold the rule of law and is not obeying court orders. You are now asking the aggrieved party to take up arms and get a relief. That is serious. So what I would ask of my successor is to continue pressure on that and ensure that court orders are obeyed.
All right, that is the retired Chief Justice on the rule of law, that he says it doesn't matter who you are. The court orders have to be followed. But I want us now to talk about Nairobi's situation, because we're where we are because partly of a court order suspending a by-election in Nairobi. Currently, we have seen that one Anne Kananu has been appointed. Is it appointed or sworn in? She was vetted, approved, and sworn into office as deputy governor. And now she's acting as the Nairobi City County Governor after one Bessa Mutura went back to the county as Speaker. What does this situation tell you, Senator Linturi? As you look at this, of course, there's a court order stopping further processing of the assumption of office of Anne Kananu. But what does it tell you, and where are we headed in Nairobi?
First, I think in a sentence, I would probably describe what is happening in Nairobi as the constitutional gerrymandering, which is so conspicuous and which has potential of threatening the sovereign power of the citizens of this city to just a mere theoretical concept. And some with a lot of respect to those players out there, unless we understand the principle and the concept by which elections are held and how governments are formed, because Kananu is being appointed to hand a government that is supposed to have been democratically elected, and which the public expect so much from them. So my position is, if we really want them to be serious Democrats and who respect what the will of the people is all about, despite the manner that the governor was removed from office, and recognizing the fact that there is also a petition that is in court where the governor is challenging his process of removal and him being protected, or expecting him to have constitutional or legal protection, by trying to get remedies from the ICON, because that's the only area where he would run to, because we found him. I think it is not, in my view, the best way to approach the issues in Nairobi, because there is no the say of the people, the people's voice is not in these processes, and the kind of hypocrisy or the kind of shift of positions from the time Sonko presented the Kananu for vetting on when he actually nominated him as a deputy governor, you realize there has been so many issues around that process about whether she should sit there or not. And because Sonko was impeached by the powers that be without them having a fallback position or without proper strategy, I think that is why you find this one happening, because they were not prepared, or they didn't know how to go about it immediately if they succeeded. So they have really...
As you talk about the rule of law, I'll shortly be playing a clip of Speaker Mutura and the new DG Kananu. I'll get back to you. But Speaker Kagusha, so when you look at it, the nomination of Anne Kananu was made by Governor Sonko then. Then a High Court stopped the vetting until some case would be heard. Then recently, that was dropped after one Governor Sonko was impeached. And now the Assembly has gone back to vetting the nominee of Governor Sonko. And now she's where she is. Is this legal?
In my opinion, it is not. And I have said as much before. I do not personally agree with the process, the way it has been done in Nairobi. And first of all, Governor Sonko claims to have withdrawn the nomination for Kananu at that point. Mm-hmm. Secondly, you can't now vet a deputy governor who was nominated by a governor who was sitting, but now the governor is not sitting, because the question would be, who is Kananu going to be deputizing? We don't have a governor. So who is she deputizing in the first place? Secondly, the process of appointment. If you just look at the process we were describing here, we were talking about the president not appointing judges. What process had these judges gone through? They had finished the whole process. All that the president was supposed to do is now write a letter of appointment. Now, by the president not doing that, the 41 judges stand unappointed. Now, when you have gone through this process of nominating, because the Governor Sonko at that point proposed a name and nominated Kananu to be his deputy governor. Now, the process was not completed. So at this point, when the governor is not in office, who then appoints the deputy governor? And does the speaker really have the legal mandate to do that? In my opinion, he doesn't.
But I have seen no evidence of any appointment letter. She was just approved and sworn in.
Yeah, you see, the process is that you go through the vetting process in the county assembly, and then, and of course, public participation also have to take place. Then you go through the process of the approval hearings in the assembly, where members will actually debate and take a vote. Then the speaker will forward this name to the governor for appointment. You know, so whether you have seen the letter or not, that is a process, and that's how it's supposed to be done. Now, if you look at the process, these processes, they have timelines, the public participation. The question is, the way this process has been done, do you think we have even observed public participation? Are we getting to hear from Nairobians also about this process? Well, I disagree personally.
If this is illegal as you claim, then what is the recourse? Because how do you remove a deputy governor? Through impeachment. But does it have to get to that point, or it can be overturned through the court?
Of course, you see, if the court, for example, today declared this process has been illegal, then all that has been done then stands to be null and void. Okay. And it doesn't hold. And then the county of Nairobi will then have to go to elections. You see, Nairobians, I'm sure, would be very tired to really be subjected to an election at this point in time, and it will also be very disruptive. Probably it would also affect the economy. But remember, mwimbo wa kujidunga hauna kilio. Yeah, na msimba wa kujitakia. You know, we are the ones who have really put ourselves into this situation. Sometimes I wonder, I think maybe if we wanted to really impeach the governor, why wouldn't we have done it when it was almost near the time that we are likely to take a referendum, so that then we can combine the two of them and the cost doesn't go very high. Okay. You know,
Dr. Pamela, I don't know what your opinion is about the situation in Nairobi, and what do you think would be the best solution that preserves the rule of law?
My opinion on this issue of Nairobi, with all the due respect even for the law and all of us who are speaking here, look at the background of what has brought us here. Sonko was elected. He had a deputy governor who then resigned. And then all that time, I think Sonko himself kept joking around with the law. he never really wanted to obey the law, because the law wanted him to appoint and install a deputy governor. And we saw a Sonko who just became a joker. Mara, he's appointing Miguna, who is in diaspora. Mara is, and then...
Why would you say that that's a joke?
I thought it was a joke, because you see, when he's appointing somebody who is not even within the country, I mean, of course, all of us, we know how Miguna ended up in Canada and all the stories around it. Now, leaving that alone, he also suggests and appoints this lady, but somehow undercover. So, all the processes, or whatever we are calling processes, to me, even the Sonko himself and all those other issues, whatever cases that this lady had in court, and the reasons why they were then dropped, because we can't say that what has happened is appointing her or vetting her when Sonko is in office is illegal, because whatever was holding it, we are told the court dropped the case. So then, that is a court also of Kenya dropping the case so that the vetting process could take place. So I think what we are saying, Sam, is that when it comes to the violation of the law and adhering to the rule of the law in Kenya, I think my take is that we have all fallen short of whatever it is.
What should happen
because in Kenya,
Nairobi?
What should happen in Nairobi? I think if the case which was against Kananu was dropped, then unless there is any other serious issue, the process should continue. We should have a governor.
Does it bother you that Kananu is becoming a deputy governor without an appointment letter from a substantive governor?
Well, then how did she come to this point? That's the question.
We know she was nominated. The vetting never happened because the assembly was stopped. And then again, after one Sonko is impeached, the county assembly, or rather, there's
okay. My thinking is this. Mm-hmm. In the absence of Sonko, we had the speaker acting. And I thought an acting authority can actually discharge the duties of the office that they are acting in. So we are thinking if the case against Kananu was dropped and then the vetting continues, whoever is in office is supposed to hand over to them, just like what we have seen the speaker do.
Why do we have section 182, article 182 in the Constitution that talks about in case a deputy governor is not able to take over after a governor has been removed by impeachment or death, then therefore the county assembly speaker can act for 60 days and have an election. Those 60 days end on the 18th of February. So we just have about 30 days or so before then, and it appears it may be difficult for IBC to conduct this by-election. How do we get out of this with all these realities, Honorable Kosita?
Well, I think I really pity my colleague here, Pamela. She's having a lot of difficulty trying to maneuver in order not to disappoint the system on this. But we need to be candid as we speak about this issue. The biggest problem we have here is disregard for the rule of law. And as my colleague here, Honorable Linturi, put it, is that the so-called deep state who were pushing Sonko out, pushed Sonko out without a plan. They ought to have sat down and said, okay, now we are impeaching Sonko. What are the legal parameters? What are the legal boundaries? What is the legal implication? There is no deputy governor, so yes, there's going to be, the speaker is going to act, and then there'll be an election within 60 days. But who is our candidate? They didn't even have one. And the biggest problem we have here, Sam, and Kenyans, is that the system is scared of going for a by-election in Nairobi. Mm-hmm. But they can't run away from it by doing these shenanigans that they do. As you said, clearly put it, the current constitution gives timelines on how things should be done, as the Speaker, Kagusha, has put it. 14 days for vetting. This was done in 14 minutes. This was done in 14 minutes. We have a report. Normally, once you have the assembly has debated, and the county assembly of Nairobi has about I think maybe over 100 about 100 MCAs.
120.
So for them to have done it within 14 minutes, maybe 2 or 3 people spoke and they just said yes, we agree. 30 minutes the report was ready. Within 1 hour, we are having a ceremony of swearing in of a deputy governor in total disregard of the law. And some, you have said that there is no substantive letter appointing Kananu as acting as a deputy governor. There is no gazette notice, because she has to be gazetted. I think legally, she has to be gazetted. So she has not even been gazetted. There is no gazette notice. So it is upon her, even her as a Kenyan, who respects the rule of law, to actually deny and say and decline to take that appointment, so that we may now have the legal process. Because she's also setting up herself for a legal process whereby we will ask her. I hope she's not using county equipment now, like vehicles and the office, because we will have her surcharged. Because legally, she is not meant to be the deputy governor. We don't have a deputy governor in Nairobi. Let us prepare Nairobians for an election of a governor.
Despite time is running out, 60 days.
Yes, 60 days is expiring. I'm sure, well, legally we'll have to. Well, that is now the crisis we have with this impunity that is runaway impunity that we have. Is we'll have to see how the courts will guide us on how we can breach that gap of law. Maybe we'll seek an extension from the court. But I'm sure there's a legal way that we can do that. But the ultimate is, let's have an election for Nairobi government.
I'm asking that because Senator Linturi, if we are to conduct an election after 18th of Feb, would that be unconstitutional?
Sammy, having heard from my good friend Kostani, that's a clear, perfect case of Simon Makonde. Guy who was born on a Monday, and a few things happened, and on Sunday, then that person was dead. So, in this particular case, anybody who has a conscience must see and get himself to know that things are being done completely out of what is expected, and because probably they were trying to do all these things to rush and run against time, so that at least the court doesn't tell them, oh, please, you must stop. So, if the Constitution talks about 18 days, remember they are saying 18 days because it was never expected that you would have an acting governor with any full power. Remember, even as the law is, the County Governments Act or something, and the Constitution does not give an acting governor to appoint even as CEC. So whatever Mutura has been doing is also illegal. These are all criminals. And that's why there is a lot of constitutional gerrymandering and the law to suit certain political ends, which was not expected, and this is not why we passed this constitution. And I really sympathize with the situation that we are in. But as leaders, we must be accountable. As leaders, we must come out here and talk fearlessly about defending the constitution. And madam, if you are a member of parliament, this is not a job for the faint-hearted. If you believe in the rule of law, if you believe in constitutionalism, you must come here and say these people are doing things the right way. So we are in a dilemma that IBC has been stopped from doing an election, right? Mm-hmm. We have some time running because the acting governor should have only acted for 16 days, and we must have an election. We have a deputy governor who has been nominated to serve as governor, because I will not say his appointment, because as far as I'm concerned and my interpretation of the one appointment, somebody has to be there to appoint somebody substantive under which this other person has to serve. So there is nobody to appoint Governor Kananu, if I'm correct. But I'm open to be advised otherwise, because we do not have a governor. So in the situation that we are in, probably what I would advise, because I would require to make some bit of research to be able to guide the debate or forward, is probably seek some advisory opinion from the Supreme Court. And giving all these scenarios and asking now, in this case, how do we move? Or if there are express provisions by any law, then we need time to really understand how now we must move.
I need us to exit from this conversation, but I want to give you right of reply.
Just allow me to reply something. My colleagues want to appear to sympathize with me. It is not me. We are all acknowledging, and I like that, we are in a dilemma. And when we are in a dilemma, what we are dealing with here is now more of not even a legal, but an ethical dilemma. Because I don't think it was also legal for Sonko to stay all that time as a governor of Nairobi without appointing a deputy. and then throwing the whole situation where we are today. And that's why I was saying, and I insist, in Kenya, we talk of issues and talk of upholding the law when we think that law will be favoring us. When the law is appearing not to be favoring us, then we are saying it is illegal. I think I maintain and sustain that what is happening to us in Kenya, we have created this confusion, all of us as leaders. And the way forward is that acknowledgement and maybe use even what I call ethical dilemma solution tactics to push us forward. Because when we look at Nairobi, from the time we have been talking about the Metropolitan, the same Sonko signs a deal to Sijui give some money, and then he refuses, he says he was drunk and all those kind of things. I think the confusion that Sonko has landed in Nairobi itself and the entire country is very illegal.
Also, I think, just a moment, should we be blaming Sonko? Because he has been punished, he's been impeached. So it's up to you.
No, he should have done the right things the right way before. Which even his impeachment was not because he was doing good.
Two wrongs.
Just a moment, Kosita, which he didn't, and therefore was removed from office. So aren't we required to follow the law as it says, despite the sins of the predecessor?
He had nominated and appointed some deputies.
I think
I want to remind that morality and the law are completely different. For those that...
all right.
I mean, really, I wanted to say that the two wrongs cannot make a right.
Correct. Never.
So, really, if Sonko was wrong, and if he did not take us the right way, we can't now justify us doing things wrongly. Because, you know, why I'm very passionate about this is because the moment we keep on doing this, we are killing devolution slowly. And sooner than later, we'll have nothing called devolution. Okay. Look at even what happened even in the Waitito's case. Really, Waitito may have been a bad person, so to say, according to, you know, the reasons why he was being impeached. But was Waitito impeached by 62 MCAs as required by law, or was that impeachment done by 56? Was Sonko impeached the right way, or was he impeached online in a way that cannot be explained? We also have had another case going on in Nyandarua, where the Speaker of Nyandarua has been supposedly and purportedly impeached by 30 MCAs, when we all know very well that they did not gather more than 25 MCAs to impeach him, you know. So if we continue perpetuating this, we are killing devolution. Okay. And for that, for some of us who really are also in this position at this time, we must speak out and defend the devolution, because if we don't do it, then who will do that? And then we can't justify a wrongdoing whatsoever.
I want us to take a short break, but as we do so, let's listen to one, Speaker Mutura, and Deputy Governor Ann Kananu.
Relinquish my acting as the Governor of Nairobi City County and resume my duties as the Speaker of the Nairobi County Assembly, and allow Her Excellency Madam Ann Mwendo Kananu to proceed and assume the office of the Governor in a substantive manner.
Nairobi is now back on course and will remain on course. Ladies and gentlemen, I want to thank the Honorable Speaker, who is the current and the acting governor, Nairobi City County, for playing a key role in ensuring that there is smooth transition and services to be delivered to Nairobians.